Okay, folks, here we have Saberspark, a very famous, very beloved YouTube commentator, YouTube cartoon commentator, if I could just talk. He's very popular. I like a lot of his takes on stuff, but not for this episode. Right now he's doing an episode on YouTube has a brain rot problem. Brain rot is basically all these low quality animations. They're all memey, they're like memes. They're all goofy. They have all this singing and characters doing cringy stuff or not sophisticated stuff. Anyways, he has a bad take on all this. So let's begin. Hang on.
I can make your hands clap.
Hey folks, how's it going?
That's actually kind of funny.
We are back once again talking about the YouTube brain rot. Now,
That's this guy. This guy that makes these animations. His name is Rocky Raccoon. For some reason his name isn't mentioned, but his animations are shown. But anyways, let's go.
we are back once again talking about the YouTube brain rot. Now, I just spoke about this in my previous upload, but I felt the need to elaborate more on this particular genre of YouTube because I thought that this brain rot stuff was a meme. I thought it was a joke. But it turns out, yeah, it's real. It's very real. And I got to witness it firsthand in real life. I was at the airport, I was waiting to speak to this flight attendant, I was in line, and there was this family in front of me, and one of their kids was watching something on their phone. I couldn't help but I peeked at the screen, and it was a Digital Circus content farm. And that kid was like hypnotized by it. The mother was even tapping the child's shoulder like, we gotta go to our flight, and the kid was like, huh? And I was like, whoa, there it is. Brain rot is real, confirmed. And then the meme wasn't as funny anymore because I became extremely, again, concerned about the state of YouTube when it comes to this type of content. Like, what are these kids watching? And I actually went to a family gathering last week, and my cousin-in-law, I guess that's what he is. He's a teacher. He teaches middle schoolers. And I asked him, I said, so tell me, what's the difference between like us growing up as millennials compared to these generations that you're teaching? And he said, they have no attention span. Like, the attention spans are fried. They are gone. He said, if you don't have like their attention, he said you got like 10 seconds of holding their attention, and that's about it. Like, this channel is no stranger talking.
Look, I don't expect much from the public school system. So if the kids aren't like paying attention or they're paying attention less than they usually do, I wouldn't chalk it up to this brain rot stuff. I would chalk it up to the school system being shit. And yeah, if people find the school system to be shit, which it is, of course you're gonna look at something else, like whether it be their phones or their tablets. People should see the writing on the wall that the public school system isn't good, but that's another topic entirely, obviously.
About like bad things on YouTube, mobile game ads, content farms, Elsa Gate, but to actually see it get worse, to see it accelerate, to see this race to the bottom happen in real time, it's bad. I even asked my viewers to hit me with their best suggestions when it comes to brain rot, and I watched some of these candidates on my Twitch, and yeah, it was really bad. So join me, folks, on this mindless rant as we talk about the state of YouTube when it comes to the brain rot content, what quantifies it, and what the future holds for our miserable species. But speaking of misery,
Damn.
ad time. Some things never change. This video is brought to you by MeUndies.
Okay,
Guys, I love Hey, and it's on MeUndies. So keep your cooler months even cooler by going to Me.
Okay,
So, what defines brain rot? Okay, what does it even mean? To me, personally, I feel that brain rot is almost like the result of the advent of technology. Like, we've seen this before, and I mean like way before Generation Alpha and Zoomers. This goes back to like watching The Simpsons and how they made fun of it, or King of the Hill, where you've got like Homer and Bart just mindlessly watching television, where just drooling, just mindless, just staring into the void of the television. Or how Hank's like, well, there you go, Bobby, the MTV generation watching TV. You know, how about you get up and do something instead of being on the Game Boy all the time? You know,
Okay, I think you can see where this is starting to go. We're getting into the, the okay boomer. It's that damn phone mindset. Okay, well, let's elaborate a bit more. I mean, let's watch a bit more, then I'll elaborate a bit more.
that kind of rhetoric has been around for a while. I've lived through that. I was one of those kids. I watched cartoons all the time. I played World of Warcraft way too much. I played Halo. I played Xbox. I was a kid who loved to play with these devices, with the hardware, watching the software, but there were limitations to that. Because you couldn't bring it with you. You couldn't, Like, yeah, you can bring like a Game Boy, but even then you have the games to play, and even those games kind of meet a certain quality of standards and practices, I suppose. You couldn't bring Warcraft with you, couldn't bring Halo with you, couldn't bring the dinosaur internet that we had at the time, the 2000s, with you. It was limited for the most part. Until the arrival of smartphones, that changed everything. And with that, the floodgates were open, where it's like now you can bring the hardware anywhere you go and have access to infinite content for all time. Amen.
Yeah, and that's good. It's nice to have your content with you. It's nice to be able to entertain yourself portably. That's all good.
And again, we saw this before with the likes of Elsa Gate, with pregnant Elsa with Spider-Man, with the most abhorrent, mindless,
Okay, I don't know what that is, but it looks kind of messed up or cringy. I don't know.
Garbage, low-quality schlock that was thrown at children back in the mid-2010s. And we also saw it with mobile game ads too. So those were the predecessors. I feel bad because I observe parents who just put their kids in front of a tablet or a phone just to shut them up. And listen, I'm not a parent. I never will be. I feel bad for these parents who have to raise a kid. It sounds really hard. But I think
You shouldn't feel bad for parents being parents, okay? They chose to do that. If they're loving parents, what does it matter? I mean, maybe feel sad for their hardships, but maybe pity their hardships for being parents, or, maybe pity any hardships they have, which may be a byproduct of them being a parent, but don't pity them for being a parent, okay? That's wrong. That's ridiculous.
we see here is the results of, the same way it's like, oh, the TV's raising these millennials. Okay, it's kind of the same thing with the smartphones raising Zoomers and Gen Alpha.
Okay, yeah, I get some parents do have their technology raise their children, which is really bad, but I feel like you're going to go into there should be restrictions on this territory or phone bad territory. I don't like that, so let's just keep going.
And here's the thing, unless the parent does something about it, if these kids are just left to their own devices on YouTube, they're gonna watch a lot of schlock, because that algorithm is vicious. It will funnel you into the void, and you will never come back.
And how is that a problem? People watch what they like, or even what they don't like. It's their choice. I don't see how this is a problem, really.
Add to that, folks, I'm not gonna pretend that TV's always been perfect. As a matter of fact, during the 80s, when you had the likes of He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, they got in trouble. There actually was some legislation that said we can't let these TV shows run rampant as glorified toy commercials. There needs to be a degree of education, of substance, of quality. So television back then at least had a moniker of quality control through standards and practices.
And why would you want the government to control what you watch, what you have to watch, what there has to be for you to watch? Because that's a really stupid viewpoint to have, that, oh, the government needs to intervene to make more educational television and less uneducational television. No. It's called freedom of speech and expression. I can watch what I want, okay? I watch out for my own well-being, not you. Now you watch out for my own well-being. I watch out for my own well-being. It's not the government's job or business or responsibility or burden. That's up to you. It's your discretion.
compared to
Because I don't get Saberspark agreeing with legislation, and it seems like he'd be for. Seems like he'd be more of a. It seems like he'd be. Sorry, cell phone ringing. That's really annoying. Seems like he'd be more of a free speech guy, freedom of expression guy with all the stuff he commentates. Seems like, you know, if you want to be able to commentate and stuff, you want it to be. You want the laws on expression to be as loose as possible, so you even have something to review, so you can even say what you want about what you review. I don't get this legislation angle.
today, where there really is no quality control. It's the Wild West of upload from anybody, from anywhere. And that's a double-edged sword. Again, anyone can upload. And
Yeah, and what's the problem with that? You know, people upload what they want. It's supposed to be a free market of ideas and expression. You watch what you want, you can demand what you want, and people can try to match it up so they can make some money and get some views, or get some views and make some money, you know.
And also, anyone can upload. And mind you, folks, as much as YouTube has changed throughout the decades, it is still the Wild West. You know, YouTube.
So, it's nice to have a Wild West complex culture so people can make what they want. People can decide what they want to see more of and what they want to see less of. You don't need all this restriction about, you know, all it needs to be all uniform and controlled, which actually YouTube kind of feels like nowadays with all the cool stuff that gets taken down, like gun videos and all this stuff that gets permitted to be uploaded, like, I don't know, just cartoons or these Brainrot cartoons he's talking about or whatever. I think you should be able to view what you want and watch what you want, but whatever.
And we'll talk about this here in a bit, takes a very hands-off approach when they can, where they're like, hey, it's not our problem, you know, as long as it's not like the most vile thing ever, it's okay. And that has had some irrevocable ramifications on people growing up. These folks are the platform. They like, we will act as the vessel to provide the content, but we don't want to have anything to do with the content, you know?
I mean, isn't that the way it should be? If you don't want your kids seeing brain rot or any inappropriate stuff, isn't it your job as a parent, your job to, like, restrict that? You know, not the company's job or whatever platform the stuff's on. That's your job. You be the parent, you do it. You know, I mean, their job here is just to entertain. If you think the company isn't doing a good fucking job making sure their content is kid friendly or general audience friendly or family friendly or whatever, you as the parent should, like, turn it off and not allow your kid to see that stuff. You know, you can't have a company parenting doing all this restriction crap. It's your job as a parent ultimately to control what your kid watches.
We'll facilitate it, but the content is on the creator. And again, there's some like light restrictions. Heaven knows I've been through them. But as far as quality control goes, YouTube doesn't play that game. They don't care. They don't. YouTube does not oversee anything. So, that
Seems like they oversee a lot with all the blocking videos and, I mean, taking down videos and taking down users. He did make another video complaining about that, so that seems to contradict. So what he's saying now in this video seems to contradict what he's saying in another video. Anyways, let's go on. And yeah, okay, maybe in some ways YouTube doesn't have a lot of quality control, but, you know, it's up to the viewers and the uploaders to decide what the quality should be. It shouldn't be like super duper restrictive to decide or whatever. And definitely don't get the government involved, because fuck them.
That all being said, with every passing generation, there's been an acceleration of the brain rots. And I feel like quantifying it, what makes it, it is content that has no substance to it. It's all sizzle, no substance. There's nothing educational. There's nothing of good intent. There's no good characters. Typically, it's low quality, minimal effort, and high turnover.
I mean, it doesn't have to be what you want it to be. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I mean, look, I could understand if you're upset that they make a ton of this content, which is stuff you don't like, and they aren't making a whole lot of other content, which is stuff you do like, but acting like it's just so bad that someone made something you didn't like, I don't quite see that as a legitimate way to look at it. I mean, different strokes for different folks. If you don't like, don't watch, that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, it gets annoying when it pops up, but other than that, if you don't like, don't keep watching.
To me, is Brainrot content. And in this day and age where there are millions upon millions of people uploading content, it is, again, a race to the bottom to be the loudest in this sea of voices. Well, everyone's jingling their keys for attention, so how do I jingle my keys louder? Well, I know, oversaturated visuals and thumbnails, all caps, pandering to trendy properties like FNAF and Poppy's Playtime and Digital Circus. We'll do whatever it takes to scream above the masses of people so our voice is louder than theirs. Because YouTube doesn't really care about quality for the most part. They don't reward it. You run all the cost, all the risk, and if it does work out, YouTube's like, hey, we did it. It's like, we did it, you didn't do anything. So,
I mean, yeah, the partnership program is shit, but I mean, you can't say they didn't quite do anything. I mean, they did at least create a platform for you to try to apply your creative talent to try and make some money in relation to their bounds, their contract and whatever. I know it's not good, but you can't just say, oh, YouTube did nothing. No, they did something. Now, whether or not they take more credit than they should with your work or do executive meddling, yeah, that's a different topic entirely. But you can't say they did nothing, because they did. They gave you a platform to even be something on.
let's talk about, I guess, certain roles in this. Let's start off with folks who might blame kids. No, I think that's stupid. Kids are impressionable. They're inexperienced. They're not gonna regulate this themselves. We were all kids once. We all were. And that's just how it is to grow up. You want to watch the things that have been forbidden. I grew up in a very Christian household, and even I was like, well, I'm gonna go sneak off and go watch The Simpsons. I'm gonna go watch South Park. I'm gonna watch Comedy Central at like 2 a.m. and see those kinds of ads come on. You know, as much as my parents and my very Christian mother tried to, keep me from watching this stuff, I was still a rebellious child who wanted to see it because I wasn't allowed to. So as far as saying like it's the children's fault, screw these kids, no, they're just dumb kids. You can't blame them. However,
I mean, not every kid watches Brainrot anyway, so I don't know, maybe this point's kind of pointless or whatever, but go on.
Parents are the ones who do carry responsibility for their children. That's just being a parent.
Well, yeah.
You brought this kid into the world, raise the child, make sure they're okay. Yes, the child will screw up. Yes, the child will go off and be rebellious and do things they shouldn't and watch things that they shouldn't. That's part of growing up. But for parents who put forth an effort, who try to at least monitor it, try to at least curate it, that's not, again, it's not a bulletproof solution, but it helps. So parents do carry responsibility because it's their kids. But I'm also not going to pretend that, nothing ever, there's no cracks in the dam. Because, again, I was a kid once, and despite my very Christian upbringing, you better believe I watched South Park. And let's go ahead and just acknowledge, by the way, YouTube's role in this. Because folks are like, well, there's YouTube Kids, there's a YouTube's Kid app, that helps. No, it doesn't, not really. I have a nephew who's, a kid, and I was...
Look, let me just say another thing. I guess this all goes back to the parents. The parents try to monitor what their kids watch, ultimately, so he's gonna, advocate for some legislation, or, some vague idea of legislation for this, which I don't think is right. And I feel like he's making out the Brainrot to be a lot more harmful than it really is. I mean, yeah, it is cringe, a lot of it's cringe, but, in a way, so what? So what? It's just cringe and that's it. Just go on.
Driving him one time, and he was like, yeah, Uncle Saber, I'm trying to watch this video, but, it won't let me. Here, let me just log out of the YouTube Kids app and hop into this other account that will let me watch what I want. So, yeah. I feel that the YouTube Kids app is more of this very flimsy excuse of YouTube to say, well, that's our answer to this for the parents to deal with. Which, again, YouTube takes a very hands-off approach when it comes to these things. They wash their hands of it and say, hey, we just facilitate the content, we don't make it, it's on you to deal with. However, YouTube also got caught years ago. They got in trouble with the FTC and got sued and had to owe a few $1,000,000 because they were taking children's information on YouTube. They're not supposed to do that. That's illegal. And they did that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be stealing people's privacy, whether legal or not. Children especially, but What's going
And the FTC is like, how dare you? Take you to court. Google, you're being fined for a few $10 million, whatever. And Google's like, owie, ouchie, yeah, we won't do it again. Meanwhile, they probably pocketed hundreds of millions of dollars by doing that. So back in the day, like, kids could have their accounts and leave comments. That's why nowadays, when you see a YouTube video that's, it's made for kids, there's no comments allowed. That's not allowed. Again, a very, I feel, flimsy answer of YouTube to address that. And them saying, like, we want nothing to do with this. This is on the parents and the kids. We just facilitate the content. We don't.
I mean, overall, I keep saying it's up to the parents to be in charge of what their kids watch.
Make it. That's on you. It's so funny too, because in the process as well, you have creators who make cutesy stuff, but it's not meant for kids. That animator Cass and their team will very frequently have their videos made for kids, even though the videos, despite featuring cute little cartoon characters,
They aren't made for kids. He's even made some videos where I can really say in the intro they're not made for kids. So maybe they look kind of cutesy, but that's just part of the aesthetic. That doesn't mean he's like targeting kids or anything. Keep in mind, these are kid movies, kid franchises he's making fun of, so of course it's gonna look kiddish to a degree, but you can't act like, oh, he's some kind of targeter, because he's not.
it's not.
I really like Cows the Poke art, by the way. Subscribe to him. It's a really cool channel. It's really funny.
Made for kids. It's made for sometimes general audiences or even adults. And I love that they're in their rebellious ways to fight this. They put like very violent moments in the video as a middle finger to YouTube, saying, "Yeah, is that for kids? Really? This person getting their brain splatted on a wall?"
I think it's hilarious.
And in the grand scheme, YouTube is being annoyingly obtuse about the situation. They are doing the bare minimum. They want to get away with it. They don't want to be caught up in the web of, again, being responsible for content. They just want to make money off of it and move along. All right, let's talk about some of these specific YouTube channels that are some of the biggest culprits of Brainrot. Someone did say, just as far as an honorary mention, Skibbity Toilet, because that almost seems synonymous for Brainrot. I was told it is mindless, and that the original creator actually made something of substance with an actual story with the characters, and that it's the folks who copy Skibbity Toilet who are the real Brainrot channels, or so I'm told. I'm saying Skibbity Toilet too many times, I want to jump off a cliff. All right, let's go on the list. So one of the channels I was told about is called Lanky Box. Mind you, 40 million subscribers almost. And I went through some of these videos. Roblox seems to be a big part of it, which, I mean, I know the kids love the Roblox. It feels like Minecraft is Coca-Cola and Roblox is Pepsi. And watching these videos, it's insane. It is like rapid fire editing, overwhelming, super saturated, very colorful, just always coming at you. I feel like it is stimulation overload. I can't even keep up with my boomer brain. But yeah, it's like, this is like taking keys and just going a million miles an hour, and it blows my mind. It works though. I mean, 40 million subscribers. It's, again, a race to the bottom. Who can be the most obnoxious? Who can be the most in your face? Who can be the most loud? This isn't about quality, it's about screaming. It's a screaming contest, and boy, can Lanky Box scream. It's weird because I see some effort. Like, these edits aren't like the worst. I've seen far worse, but they definitely seem targeted to children and just keeping their attention and overstimulating them. Gotta put a Family Guy funny moments window in their videos, right? But hey, Lanky Box, good on you. 40 million subscribers. I guess it goes to show you that, once again, YouTube's not in the quality control business. They're in the content making business. And brother,
Well, yeah.
business is a booming. Next, there is Benji X Scarlet. So I've never heard of this channel before. They have nearly 4 million subscribers. It blows my mind where folks are like, oh my God, Saber, you're YouTube famous. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a niche micro celebrity at best, and I will die and fade off into oblivion like everything else.
I doubt it. I mean, he's got like 200. He's got 2,000,008. He's got 2.08 million subscribers. That's a lot. I wouldn't call that a micro celebrity. I wouldn't. And as for views, he's got more than 500,000 views. I mean, more than 100,000 views. He's got 620 million views. I wouldn't call that a micro celebrity. I would not, but whatever, so let's go on.
But as far as these other subscribers, these other channels that have millions of subscribers, I've never heard of them before. So, I guess fame is relative. But for Benji X Scarlet, it's a musician, this guy, and he makes the most repetitive, most mindless songs I've ever heard on YouTube. And I've seen some bad ones from the Elsagate era, which I thought the Elsagate stuff was put to rest. We're finally done with it. Nope, they're back. They just changed their skin. They're skinwalkers, and Benji's part of that. And as of late, they've been targeting Inside Out too. I love the Inside Out Skibbity Toilet videos. Those are a mark of genius. These lyrics are brilliant. Here, listen for yourself.
I'm Skippity Joy, Skippity Pop Pop Pop.
I'm Skippity Sadness, Skippity Pop 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 Pop.
I'm Skippity Fear, Skippity Pop 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 Pop.
Again, nearly 4 million subscribers. Salt in the Wound. Got some real glazing going on with the Feastable songs with Mr. Beast. I guess, again, Benji here knows their audience. And I said, what quantifies the brain rot? And it really is intent. You know your audience, you know your viewers, you know your demographic, you know who you're pandering to. And for Benji and Lankybox, they're pandering to children, impressionable children. And here's the thing, YouTube throws their hands up. They're like, that's not our problem. It is what it is. Content's being uploaded, the kids are watching it, and hey, that's just the way it is, folks. That is just the internet landscape today. Go fuck yourself. But the biggest culprit that I've ever seen when it comes to the masterminding of YouTube brain rot, in my opinion, is Max Design Pro. This channel has nearly 11 million subscribers. Now, I've been on this platform for a while, and let me tell you, the YouTube Shorts program changed everything. This channel has made its empire specifically due to YouTube Shorts and how YouTube, in order to combat TikTok and compete with it, just dumped so much valuable as they once were. It's viewership that matters more. Just dumped so much, preferential treatment and let the algorithm get supercharged. Let me put it in perspective for you. The folks who make Digital Circuit has made its empire specifically due to YouTube Shorts and how YouTube, in order to combat TikTok and compete with it, just dumped so much. It's supercharged. Let me put it in perspective for you. The folks who make Digital Circus, Glitch, have over 11 million subscribers. Max Design Pro is like 200,000 subscribers behind them. And this channel did it just because of YouTube Shorts alone. Take that in for what it's worth. Subscribers on YouTube are not nearly as valuable as they once were. It's viewership that matters more. But YouTube Shorts in general too are just kind of like ad rev wise, not really bringing the big bucks. I've been there. I've done the ad rev on YouTube Shorts. If you get like millions of views, you might get like $50. It's pitiful. So if you look at the oldest videos they've made, they actually had some pretty interesting character designs that kind of remind me of like a storybook character from like some scholastic book. But then you see the brain rotification of this monkey character and then a chicken nugget with Riz and how they just went off the deep end. All the memes, all the trends, all the TikTok and YouTube brain rot just created the perfect storm of what I would consider one of the champions of YouTube brain rot. Amen. I mean, I watched a few minutes of this and it was truly unbearable. Yeah, and I never would have expected to hear Cotton Eye Joe in the context of this content in this day and age. Yeah, like literally, how has Cotton Eye Joe lasted for this long? It refuses to go down. I'm happy for Joe, but I'm not happy for the content farms or the brain rot. So overall,
Okay, that was pretty annoying.
my final thoughts on the situation. What do we do about the brain rot? Who is to blame? And what happens next? As far as responsibility goes, I'd say YouTube. I'd say they carry the most responsibility. And so much of this is the great transition of how the entertainment landscape and how we create content and how we consume content has changed. When When I was growing up, it was just Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and it was Hollywood and a handful of very talented creators who had to put together these shows that were very expensive. And there was a system in place during that time. A lot more checks and balances and standards and protocols. These TV channels and networks that owned the properties and worked with the advertisers and had also legislation that held them to at least...
Okay, look, enough of the legislation shit, okay? Government shouldn't be in your TV set. You should be able to watch what you want. From where you want, from who you want. You shouldn't be able to, like... You shouldn't have to go through government regulation to watch your educational edutainment television, okay? It's up to you what you want to watch. So this whole prospect of legislation is just stupid.
Some degree of accountability. They're the ones who had to
What accountability? It's a TV show.
see it. There was, again, more quality control. But now it's been scattered to the winds. Television's kind of dead. And a lot of these channels and networks tried to move on with their own streaming services, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, and those channels, those streaming services don't make nearly the same amount of viewership as TikTok and YouTube. Like, everyone has moved over to YouTube. Kids watch everything on YouTube. The streaming services are falling behind. Like, the only...
And that's fine. It's up to any industry to adapt to the changing needs and wants of their consumer base.
The only property I know of that has put up a valiant fight and tries to keep up in pace is Bluey. Bluey is like holding up the pillar of quality.
I've seen a very few bits and pieces of it. I don't know. The show doesn't seem like much to me. Maybe I could watch more, but I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on it.
Entertainment in this day and age. So YouTube, I think eventually, I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility of American Congress saying, hey, so maybe you all should like do something about this. We need more standards and practices involved on YouTube front, which...
Why? It's up to the parent to decide if what their kid is watching is too hot. I mean, too hot meaning too inappropriate, too lewd, too violent, that kind of thing. Why do you want to introduce legislation in this? Like I said, the government should stay out of your TV set or out of your computer monitor. You should be able to watch what you want. If it's too hot for your kids, don't want to watch it. Don't get the men in suits involved. That's not a good idea. The most you can do is outside of your scope of control, I'd say, is maybe contact a network. And if you feel like they're giving kids too lewd, harsh, violent, inappropriate things to watch, then you could make a suggestion for them not to do that or censor it. But I don't know. But don't get the government involved, please. No government.
Can be horrifying because content creators are like, let us just do our thing. We don't want to be held to these restrictions. It's a double-edged sword, once more.
Well, yeah, I mean, would you want executive meddling?
YouTube and how they take a hands-off approach for the most part can be a blessing and a curse.
I don't see how it could be a curse. I'm tired of executive meddling. I think YouTube should be able to make what it wants, stop censoring people with dissenting ideas, and as far as letting people post stuff like gun videos, gun sale videos, or gun accessories, or whatever. They shouldn't be restricting the gun videos, especially.
Currently in the genre of Brainrot, that is most definitely a curse. So yeah, we kind of are standing here at the edge of the abyss potentially. I don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know if it's going to get worse. I don't know if this race to the bottom is still continuing. Most likely is. I'm not sure if there will be a breaking point with the pendulum swings and quality content. There's more of a demand for it because there's so much garbage out there. But at the same time,
maybe that's how it could be. Maybe the pendulum could swing to where people are tired of the garbage and want something better. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Children and their dumb little brains, they just want to look at the shiny, fun, pleasing, dopamine-releasing cartoon characters and their dumb, mindless YouTube shorts and TikToks and content farms. So,
what's wrong? It seems like a very okay boomer mindset, and it's that damn phone or that damn tablet kind of take on this. Let people watch what they want to watch. I don't see a problem with this.
Hopefully, as far as it goes, maybe YouTube might take action to at least cull these content farms and pump the brakes. But ultimately, this is a platform that takes a hands-off approach, and I don't see that approach changing anytime soon unless legislation is enforced to make them take action. So
And why, once again, there's nothing good out of the government censoring shit, okay? Nothing good. People should be able to express themselves how they want. And as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, like, really hurting anyone, I don't see the problem is. But yeah, some of the stuff is cringy. So what? Why do you want the government to, like, control what other people watch? Like, you don't get to determine what other people can watch. They do. I mean, yeah, it can be cringy and very lowbrow, but that's their prerogative to get involved in. That's their business, not the government's.
we'll see what happens next. In the meanwhile, try to read a book, go out for a walk, drink some water, and get out into the real world because the internet sucks a lot. It can be amazing, it can be terrible. It truly is a double-edged sword. But folks,
I mean, yeah, I do believe people can get a bit too internet-y, but this seems kind of like book good, phone bad, outside good. I don't know. It doesn't seem like much of a good tip.
what do you all think? Again, I grew up with a television I couldn't bring with me in the car because of the smartphone. Now the hardware is there, the software is there, YouTube can follow you anywhere.
And that's good.
It's infinite entertainment forever and ever, multiple lifetimes. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is it a double-edged sword as I've claimed? I think so, but what do you all think? Tell me in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.
Okay. Yeah, look. Okay, look, damn it. I think Saberspark is taking this Brainrot thing a bit too seriously. Yeah, the content isn't that great, but at the same time, so what? People can watch what they want. If you want better stuff, you have to demand better stuff. It's up to the parents to decide what their kids watch, not the freaking state. There's nothing good that come out of the state. I'm a bit disappointed Saberspark advocates for the state to have some input, some regulations, some control over this, because people are entitled to be able to watch what they want. We don't need, men and women in suits trying to care for us, because they don't. That's not caring for another person. So yeah, that's my take on Saberspark. He's pretty cool with his analyses of shows and stuff, but when it gets to like the nitty gritty, I wouldn't say he's that good at that. At least not this, but whatevs. Anyways.